brand nerds, brand nerds. Oh, Larry. Oh, Larry. This is a special one. We might even say this is a super Brands, Beats, and Bites. And when I say super, I mean this is a What's Poppin' Super Bowl 2026 edition of Brands, Beats, and Bites. And brand nerds, you all know that I'm going to say this. I hope I make my daughters proud. I'm going to try to say this in the parlance of our younger listeners and say the Super Bowl had advertising in it, and we have thoughts. Okay, we have thoughts, Larry, and we have a guest with us who was here last year for the 2025 Super Bowl edition. I was not here, but we had someone here. His name is Tim Spengler. We lovingly called him Fill-In Frank from PTI. Fill-In Frank. But Larry, I got to get a little housekeeping done right now. We can't call someone named Tim Frank. Okay? And so we got to clear this up before we start going any further into the show, Larry. Tim has given us some things to think about, brand nerds, as to what we maybe want to call him. Now, what I want to call him is not suitable for public airing, but we're going to go into some of the options that he has given to us, Larry, and then you and I are going to decide, Tim, we want nothing from you, no opinion, no response, no nothing. All right. That's Tim Spengler, by the way, guys, who's in the background. Here we go. I'm just going to go through them quickly, Larry, and I'm going to tell you my preference. So instead of Fill-In Frank from PTI, Tactical Tim, 10-Day Tim, as in NBA Energy, Tap In Tim, Tune In Tim, Tiebreak Tim, Top Seed Tim, 2-Minute Tim, different kind of a show, Table Setter Tim, Turnover Tim, Takeaway Tim, Truth Teller Tim, and Tension Tim. I, Larry, prefer Takeaway Tim.
Oh, that's a good one.
He has very relevant takeaways. And since we're talking about football, takeaways also goes with football. So that's my choice. But Larry, would you like me to read them again, or did one pop out for you?
No, I'm with you on that one. I have a runner-up as Tap In Tim, because that's what we tap into Tim whenever we really need his great knowledge on the media front. So that's really important as well. So, Tim, you want to weigh in? What's your favorite?
I could go either way. I like both of those. Yes.
I was worried it was going to be 10-Day Tim, as in I have a 10-day contract and I'm out of here. So I'm just happy that it's not that. But quick question before we start, because I've been meaning to ask you guys. I didn't see any paperwork come through. So these the same financial terms as when I'm usually on?
Yes, that would be goose eggs.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that'd be goose eggs. Same thing we got you last holiday season. We're getting you this holiday season.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure.
All right, tap in or takeaway. What do you want to be, Tim?
Oh, I'll be takeaway. I'll try to be smart.
Good one.
Okay. Takeaway Tim. So takeaway Tim it is. And then the other thing I'd like to speak to, I know this is a long setup, Larry, so please.
Oh, this is fun.
Thank you. Allow me. Is that this was takeaway Tim's idea, was that we come rolling up in jerseys. Okay, this was his idea. So we're gonna run through the different jerseys, and dare I say, 2 of the 3 are on brand. One has been absconded. Okay, one has been absconded. So I will start. Okay, I have on a hockey jersey. Brand nerds, you can't see me. It has LV on it, double zeros. LV is for, I want to get this pronunciation correct because I often hack it. I'm Detroit Public School. So this is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton. Nice. Okay, so I have Louis Vuitton on. Now, why do I have a hockey jersey? Because being from Detroit, the last major professional team to win a world championship is the 2008 Red Wings. Go Hockey Town. So that's me. Coming up next is Tim. Tim, what do you have on? Explain it to the brand nerds, please.
Sure. So this is a New York Jets jersey. It's a little wrinkled because I use it as a cry blanket, and there's some tears that have sort of like salted in, and that's the wrinkle. I don't wear it. I just cry into it for the last
Mm,
50 years.
Yeah. And
good. I was looking at, how different sports franchises have nice little taglines and saying. So Hockey Town
Yeah.
is Detroit, and the Jets is "You suck." All right, go ahead, Larry. Okay, go ahead, Larry.
I grew up a Jets fan, and I've absconded that fandom long ago since I've lived half my life in California now. So I feel for Tim on that front in a big way. I am off brand. That's what DC is referring to. I'm
Yes.
wearing my son Jake's Raiders jersey, who's a Raiders fan. He was brought up wrong. My wife Sherry and I are huge San Francisco 49ers fans, but I do not own a jersey. So hence wearing Jake's Raiders jersey. So that is where I am off brand, but that's
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you, Larry. All right, brand nerds. In all seriousness, we are going to break down today our thoughts on the Super Bowl ads. And we're going to give you some other treats, mostly led by Takeaway Tim, because he's a vet of the game. And with that, I'm going to pass, get it, brand nerds, pass tight spiral to you, LT.
Thank you, D. That's great. And as DC alluded to, we have Tim Spengler. In all seriousness, there's no one better to have Tim. Tim's been to 19 Super Bowls and has been the lead media person in many a campaign as it relates to purchasing media for the Super Bowl. So hence, he is integral to what where we're going and what we're talking about today. So,
And
okay,
Larry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you say 19?
19, right, Tim? That's the right number?
Wow.
True number. True number.
19. That's impressive.
About four.
Can you give me just a second, Larry? I just need to ask a
Yeah.
follow-on question to Tim. How many of those 19 were the Jets in?
See, I thought we were friends.
Hey,
Wait,
Tim, ask him how
you
many
been
the
to
Lions were
19?
in.
0.0.
It would be more than the Lions. See, you set yourself up bad for that.
Okay, but I'm not sitting here wearing a Lions jersey, okay? I'm wearing Hockey Town, okay?
Yeah. Joe Willie Namath. That's
Yeah,
1970. That's as good as we
pointing
got.
up my number one. That's what the Jets,
Okay,
the only
okay,
thing
all
they're
right.
known for.
All right, I got it. Okay, I'm gonna be better. I'm sorry, Tim. Take away, Tim. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
Okay. So, Branders, here's the run of the show today. This is already super fun. This is a What's Poppin' Super Bowl 60 edition. And here's what we're going to do. There's three things we're gonna go forward with. Tim's going to walk you through some really interesting media tidbits and some other general media context about Super Bowl 60. And then the three of us will also share some themes that sort of pop for us. After that, DC, Tim, and myself, number two, are each going to share one ad that we thought was really banging and why, and then one more ad that was a big bust and why. This means each of us will have two ads that we're going to introduce to the group. And we will, of course, all share our thoughts on each of these ads. At the end, we will each add in some closing thoughts for you to take away. There's the takeaway, Tim, now. That is the run of the show. All right. So, okay, Tim, we know you have some interesting snippets to share, which will lead off into some themes we can discuss. The floor is
Yeah,
yours.
absolutely. Sounds good. All right. So there's about 80 spots in the game. It's about a $1.8 billion day for NBC.
Wow.
Not bottom line money, of course. They've had to pay trillions in multi-year contracts with all of the networks, and they each get a Super Bowl. They rotate those. This was NBC's part of their legendary February, they're calling it. We're all
Okay.
sitting in the middle of the Olympics. The NBA All-Star Game is on February 15th, so it's quite a February. I think NBC used that to their advantage, use that as a
Yep.
platform
Mhm.
for brands to their advantage. We'll probably talk about that. The average spot costs between $7 and $8 million in the game.
Okay.
That's the cost for the 30. It's very similar to last year, actually. There were a few, the last three or four, that somebody got in, somebody got out. and the person who got in at the last minute had to pay 10 million. So the price did get to 10 million for the first time. 10 million, by the way, and a match of 10 million. And I'd like that in the Olympics if possible. We can have that conversation. Was kind of how that went on the other side of the phone. A few spots at 10 with a match. So that was, something. I mean, that's quite something from the days of the first spot was 40,000. I remember the first million. The first $1 million spots were like late 90s. We thought that was a big deal back then. A friend of mine,
It was.
Steve ran Bush Media, and they had 10. We'll talk about beer too, I know today. They had 10 spots and beer exclusivity. That's when you're the king of beers. That was the first $1 million spot, really, late 90s. And, about 125 million people are going to, last year, 127.7 million people saw the game. This year's game was, let's say, less exciting. How much lower will the number be by the time this comes out? Those numbers might be public. They are not yet. And those are kind of the NBC facts and figures. Anything I missed?
No, those are great. That's great context. And I think as it relates to NBC, I give them a lot of credit because they consciously did this, Tim, right? To set it up this way where they would get the Super Bowl in the middle of their Olympic Games, and you could see how they're all cross-promoting, and it's actually pretty brilliant when you think about it because, the Winter Olympics does not have the mass audience appeal that the Super Bowl does. But I got to tell you, especially with Lindsey Vonn falling and all the things that are already happening in the Olympics, you've got to believe and that's something I don't know, Tim, you know this. I don't think they can track that, but I got to believe it's helped viewership for the Olympics, having the Super Bowl right smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah, there's always a lot of variables. Like the last Winter Olympics was in Beijing. Okay, it was 13 or 14 hours, different time zone. There's a lot of reasons why, and this isn't here. This is 6 hours different from the East Coast and 9 hours from the West Coast. So it's not that anything's perfect, but yes, the promotional platform of the Super Bowl certainly will benefit the Olympics, and probably, for sure.
And advertisers.
Yeah, and then the advertisers who are, a lot were in both, not all, but many are in both. This is the moment, and this is a moment to stand out, and let's go for it a little bit here. Are we comfortable with what we're saying? If we are, we want to win, don't we? Let's go for it. This is the time to go for it. Yeah, so there's definitely some of that in there too.
That's very cool. So I have you again. Tim. Do you want to hit a theme that you have? How should we start that?
Sure. I had two big themes. We want to each do one and then go back around, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, I only have one big one. So yeah, good. You start.
All right. So I had AI, everything, everywhere, and all at once.
Nice.
Not only 15 spots, but 3 or 4 where AI was used to enhance the actual spot. Talking about technology.
Right.
So you got AI in a couple different ways. That influence this games, and I'll just stay on that one for one more second. A little reminiscent of the 2000 .com bowl.
Okay, yeah.
This is the AI bowl. That was the .com bowl. New technology, now front and center. What happened after the .com bowl the first week of February or last week of January back in 2000? On March 10th, we had the .com bust, the big one. Not saying we're going to have the AI bust in 6 weeks. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Very interesting. That's a great call. And think about it, D, 15, Tim said there's 80 spots. So, man, I mean, that's a huge percentage, right?
Yes.
And dare I say, that's a great theme. And dare I say, I would challenge anyone, ourselves included, to really decipher what the different positionings are from Claude to ChatGPT to et cetera. Because for me, they melded into the same thing.
Right. Good point.
Nice theme. Remind the brand nerds of your theme again, Tim, before we go to Larry.
AI, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Okay. That's good. I think I've heard that somewhere in Oscar land and movies, but I digress. Go ahead, Larry.
All
Clever.
right, so I'm going to hit the next one.
Yeah, yeah. You said you had a theme.
Yeah, I got a theme.
Yeah, okay.
So the theme is small tactics. So Tim alluded to, people paid upwards of 10 million, more in the $7 or $8 million range. That's a lot of money, man. Dare I say bluntly, that's a shit ton of money. And I don't get how you would just be small with tactics. So here's where I'm going. If you're not advancing the brand and really talking about brand and really advancing the brand, like I said, what are you doing? So here I'm going to call out Grubhub with George Clooney. They talked about no fees, and at the end of no, that's a tactic. Do you really need the Super Bowl to tell us that you have no fees anymore? Claude AI, again, one of the AIs. They talked about, I think there were two spots that they don't have any ads in their AI. Again, tactical. And to me, this is really small thinking to spend all that money on just what are small tactics and really not advancing what your brand is about and your brand message. What do you think, guys?
I agree with you, Larry. And I believe that when there is a tactic that many of these brands, companies, and advertisers, including their agencies, believe can become stunty, they use the Super Bowl as a way to talk about that tactic. I don't agree with it necessarily, but
Right.
I think that's their logic.
Right.
Along the other side of the tactic theme is when it's so much about the celebrity and not
Yep.
about the brand. That's another form of a tactic, right? It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
talk about the celebrities. What was it for? Did it move? You down the
Right.
consideration set? Is another. There's always some of that in the Super Bowl as well, where it's so
Yeah.
celebrity heavy. But yeah, did it? But celebrity what? What they say? What's going on? But yeah, I agree with
Correct.
tactics.
Good point. I didn't have a theme, and I should say this, brand nerds. Tim, Larry, and I do not confer
Good one.
on this.
True.
So what you're hearing from each of us is what we're all hearing for the first time from each of us. So with that said, here is my theme. The Super Bowl continues to be a trifecta of entertainment. What do I mean? You have the game, you have the ads, and you have the halftime show.
Yep.
So these are the three different elements of the Super Bowl. We put this in context, brand nerds. The viewership of the Super Bowl last year, 59, was 27.7 million people.
127.7.
I mean, excuse me, 127.7. Yes,
Yeah.
127.7. All right. Last year's halftime show by Kendrick Lamar, brilliant, was 133.5. So
Yeah.
more people watch Kendrick Lamar during the halftime show than watch the friggin' game.
Right.
This puts it in context. And of course, far more than $133.5 million had been spent on Super Bowl media, not to mention production and celebrities. So that's why I'd say three trifecta of entertainment, gentlemen.
Shall we say three phases of entertainment?
Oh, three
Keeping
phases. Okay, three
with the
phases.
football parlance, three
Oh,
phases.
look at
Yeah, it's good.
look at takeaway Tim. Look at takeaway Tim. Phases, three phases: offense, defense, special teams,
Yes, sir.
complimentary entertainment.
Yeah, it's funny. We were in a meeting earlier with our amazing colleague Joy Noel, and we were just catching up on the weekend. And we asked Joy if she watched the Super Bowl. She said, "Nope, I watched the halftime."
Right.
So, and she loved the halftime. She loved Bad Bunny. So, this is a theme, right? That does run through, I think, every year.
Yep.
One more point there about halftime show. The last five halftime shows, the five biggest, I'm sorry, in viewership halftime shows. U2 2002, $82.9 million. Missy Elliott and Katy Perry, 2015, $118.5 million. Usher baby, 2024, $129 million. Kendrick Lamar, last year, as I mentioned, $133.5 million. And the Bunster, drum roll please, $135 million, all-time record, linear TV.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Do you have any stats? I should know this because I was actually in the middle of it, of the wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
Halftime, I was in the middle
I
of the
don't have that. I'll look for it, but it's not that. I would think that'd be more. Probably right after more. Right after more.
So, Tim, you brought it up. You've shared it before, but take us through the wardrobe malfunction, in a quick way, how you were in the middle of it.
So my client was AOL, and it was the AOL. It was MTV presents the AOL Top Speed. That was their dial-up content access to the internet brand. MTV presents the AOL Top Speed halftime report. So as the wardrobe malfunction occurred, AOL just presented porn to America.
Oh
a little less access to porn back then in 2004 than there is now.
Oh my.
And that was a moment to be in the stadium with your client and having to deal with the fallback of that situation. I'll just leave.
Oh my goodness.
Should we have the brand nerds Google what wardrobe malfunction, or should we tell them what it is?
I think they should Google it. But maybe you think that you should tell them. I don't know.
We'll just say the parties were Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, and Google it.
Yeah, just Google it.
I think it was 04, 05. I should know the year. It's probably, it should be tattooed on my brain. It was one of those years in Houston. It was, yeah. Anyway, that was a halftime to remember.
Yes, it was.
To say the least.
This is great. Tim, did you have one more theme before we want to move on, or?
So here's another big one, and it's I'm going to sound a little old school, but it is the history of marketing, the Super Bowl, biggest event of the year in media in this country. No one's going to say it isn't. Cars and beers, where you at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, as I said, Anheuser-Busch would have to buy either 8 or 10, depending on the year,
right,
spots to own category exclusivity for beer. And then there were so many cars in almost every game. Was huge. I saw less than 3 of both cars.
What was VW? Cadillac had the Formula One ad. Those are the only ones I remember. The Toyota, I think, because they had the halftime. Yeah.
Not a lot. And then the beer, So that to me was a crazy theme. I mean, they sold it out. It was great demand, all the rest of what we said. Similar to last year. It's not like the price spiked, but still. But crazy how, things just categories replace other categories. But to me, that it was a theme for me. It's just very different than other Super Bowls.
Yeah. And AI theme is interesting. It is a coincidence, I think, but being again in the Bay Area, AI, like the home of AI right now in downtown San Francisco, brand nerds, that is where all the AI companies are and are only getting bigger and larger right now.
Let me make one point about that, because the Super Bowl buy is not only for advertisers to talk to consumers. Okay. That's a B2C play. It's also a B2B play in many. We've all talked in the past about how to get better distribution. When you go to the guy who's the buyer at Walmart and you've got a product and you say, I'm in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
That buyer is going to buy more of your product and put it on your shelf. I'm cutting to the chase, making it very simple, but it's a play. Here's another play. How about the internal and with our customers for all these tech companies? And I don't know, Larry, you live out there, how many parties, how many events when the game was in their backyard did they go, we have to have a spot because we're going to bring all of our best customers in. We're going to have all of our, that was part of it.
No question. That always plays a big part. And I think that got a little bit exponential here because of the setting and the timing of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. I read, that Cardi B had performances over the weekend, to your point, as did SZA, and a connection with Cardi B. Cardi B was also a part, although nascent part, of Bad Bunny's halftime show. She was in front of one of the houses on the porch dancing, as was Carol G. And I
Yeah.
bet Carol G also had made some money at different parties. So to your point, takeaway, Tim, these artists who came to town to bless a party, I'm sure some of those party brands were in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Should we hit section 2? Should we want to get to the ads?
Let's do it. One thing before we get to the ads, though, I do want to say this. So I went out, Tim, and visited Larry and Sherry. My fiance Ashley and I visited Larry and Sherry back in November. We were headed out to Napa Valley to celebrate my born day. And as I was driving through the city with Larry and maybe an Uber, not a Waymo, but an Uber, everywhere the eye could see was an AI billboard.
Right.
Literally, I felt like I just got dropped into AI land.
Right.
And those folks were throwing crazy parties, which leads me to my question, Larry. We know that Super Bowl tickets are hard to get. They're allocated by big brands and media companies and organizations, and only a small percentage of them go to fans.
Right.
How hard do you think it was to get tickets in Silicon Valley with all those billionaires and millionaires?
Yeah, I think it was really hard and
ridiculous.
But the other interesting thing that happened here, you guys, and Tim, I know you can totally relate to this because of the one Super Bowl that was in New York. You know, Santa Clara, where Levi Stadium is in the South Bay. It's right next to San Jose, actually. It's 40 miles from downtown San Francisco. I was in San Francisco, actually, on Friday. DC and Tim, you both know there was an Ad Week function in San Francisco. And so there was things around, but I was at the Ferry Building, which has awesome shops and whatnot. And I was asking one of the people as I was working there, as I was at this bakery, I'm like, "Are you getting a Super Bowl feel?" She goes, "Well, I know. I asked one of my coworkers, like, what's going on, but it doesn't feel that much different." And I was surprised on Friday in San Francisco, it didn't feel that much different. And what I gather is all the entertaining and was going on in San Francisco, but all the football was in the South Bay. That's where the teams were located and everything. So it was a little bit bifurcated. And the other thing that's happened that's different with AI, most of the Googles and the Metas and all those companies are actually closer to Santa Clara in the South Bay, in what's really the heart of Silicon Valley. The AI companies are in San Francisco. So again, it's not that far away. It's 40 miles, but it is a little bit of difference. So I think it was a little bit, disparate in that sense, because it's not like if anybody's been to Indianapolis, the Lucas Oil Stadium's right in the heart of the city, and everything is within like 5 or 6 blocks, and you can't not feel it when you have an event like that there. Or in New Orleans, Tim, you and I've talked like at the Superdome. That's the best place. Like everyone knows.
I was just going to say that. That's why I think New Orleans is the best. And I love the word you use, feel. It's, you're breathing Super Bowl air for an entire weekend, no matter where you are. But when the game, you're right, when the game's 40 miles away, it's a little different. It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We are now going to the ad evaluation section. This is where we, brand nerds, give our view. 2 categories of ads. Bangers. These are the ones we thought, one for each of us, that we pick above all of the others. And then busts. So bangers and busts. We're going to start with bangers. If you all don't mind, I'd like to lead it off because I want to go last on the bust. Can I lead this one off?
Yes.
Okay. Banger, my banger for Super Bowl 2026 is I'm not saying it yet. I first need to give you a criterion. Here's my criterion. I've got 3 points that I want you brand nerds to consider that I believe make or break a banger or bust. Number 1, and this is in order of priority for me. Number 1, emotional impact. Did it make us feel something? Did it make us feel something real? Because for me, and Larry, we do this in our business all the time, without an emotional impact, nothing else really matters. Number 2, brand integration. Could this ads belong to anyone else? Like, if the audience, if they get the joke, but they don't remember the brand, but they're laughing, and you ask them like, hey, who was that ad for? And they say, I don't know, but it was really funny. The ad has failed. It has failed.
Failed miserably, I might add.
Miserably. And you said this earlier, Larry. Number 3, moment mastery. Did it own the Super Bowl moment? Did it take advantage of these 120, 130 million eyeballs at one time? It is a once-a-year cultural stage. Did it really own it? So those are my 3. Just to revisit again, emotional impact, make us feel. Brand integration, make us remember, like, who made us feel whatever we felt. And moment mastery, make it unforgettable and in cultural context. All right, so with all of that, my banger is Lay's Harvest. Lay's Harvest. Okay. So, brand nerds, in case you hadn't seen this now, there is a farmer
You're going to feel something
who is talking about the Lay's farm where he raises potatoes. And they are fresh potatoes that we eat in our Lay's potato chips. He is sitting on this porch in a swing with his daughter. Not his son, but his daughter. And he hands the daughter keys to the farm and says, it's yours now, baby. And the daughter says, now, Dad, just one more time, can we go out and just tend this land together one more time? And then it goes through a series of different snippets where it shows this woman who's now back to being a little girl with her dad on the farm and planting potatoes. And it goes through their history together. And then it ends back on the porch where the father says, no, there's no need to do it together again. It's yours. Oh, the emotional impact. The love of a father and a daughter. The brand integration. Everybody knows that's Lay's. It's Lay's. You can't get around it. I grew up with Better Made chips. Nobody's thinking about Better Made chips there. You can't take Lay's out of it. No, it's Lay's. And then the moment, the whole moment is there is a movement going on in this country right now, take away Tim and LT, that is about women in sports across the board, about elevating our women. And that is a cultural thing happening now. They own that moment. My banger is Lay's Last Harvest. What say you?
That would have been fun to be in the boardroom, and you guys both as brand managers have been in these rooms when that idea was kicked around.
Yep.
It would have been fun. And obviously it got approved. So it was a yay vote versus a nay vote. I wonder how many people thought that was too far afield. It's not going to land. What are we trying to do here? But it clearly does. And it's a good one. And for all those reasons you said.
So I love everything you said. It's so funny, D. It was my number 2. I
got number 2,
different number 1, but it was my number 2. I love that ad. And I have to just tell the brand, by the way, Jade's going to post all the bangers and the busts in the show notes, so you could go back and watch them. What I also thought was amazing was, did you notice, and again, comes from a dog daddy, did you notice the golden retriever in the ad too. There was a golden retriever in the ad, and they showed the golden in different phases when they did the flashback of when the woman was a young girl and the dog was a puppy. And now
Oh,
and
wow.
now
I
she's
missed that, Larry.
Nice.
and now the dog is older with a gray face sitting on the porch. So they got all the elements. Like,
Oh, that's good.
these are brand nerds. I'm bringing that up because DC described it perfectly. But even down to that level of detail to really emotionally connect with people, it was brilliant. Brilliant.
That's my banger. All right. Who wants to go next?
Tim, why don't you hit us next?
Sure. I I thought what Pepsi did was unbelievable. Now, I love your setup, DC. When I always think about is something going to work, it's kind of the classic funnel. We all know that the
Yeah.
awareness is there because you're in the Super Bowl, so everyone's aware. But the interest and the consideration, can you take me down the funnel? Does the ad not just be entertaining, but does it take me down the funnel? And your ingredients were kind of some of those things that get you down the funnel. Did you feel it,
Yep.
etc. Um, the judo move, the judo move that Pepsi did, stealing the polar bear
Mm-hmm.
and putting it in their ad. I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, could Allstate put a gecko in their ad? Could Miller put a Clydesdale in its ad?
Mm.
I don't know where copyright starts and ends on these things, but I thought it was amazing that Pepsi stole the polar bear, put it in a blind taste test, and then put it in the what was the company where the CEO and the head of HR were at the concert together, canoodling?
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Oh.
Yes. It was
Astronomer. Astronomer. The little astronomer takeaway. I
yes.
just thought that move was really, really interesting. And so I celebrate the balls of that one to say that's my favorite ad of the 80.
All right. This is so good.
Oh, this is
So
good. Okay.
we, as you know, are incredibly biased because we grew up on North Avenue. And I understand everything
That's
you just.
by the way, can you tell them the brand nerds what that means? North
Yes,
Avenue.
that's Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, is on North Avenue. And so as brand nerds, you all know DC and I grew up at Coca-Cola. And when I saw that ad, Tim, I felt like that reminds people of Coca-Cola. This is Pepsi's always done this. They always talk when you're number two, many challenger brands bring up number one. The leading brand never has to do that. And so all that does is remind me of that Coca-Cola has the icon of polar bears, which is an incredible icon. They have a lot of iconography of Coca-Cola, and that just reminds them of Coca-Cola. And so for me, I just see that's Pepsi playing their playbook. They're going out back. They're using it for the Pepsi Challenge. The Pepsi Challenge did work at first, but then Coke pushed it back. And the reason why the Pepsi Challenge worked, in my opinion, and DC and I have actually never directly talked about this, is because at the time Coke didn't know how to react to that. They stayed on the product level, and then by coming up with new Coke and by effing up and then coming back with Coca-Cola Classic, they figured out about the emotional connection that Coca-Cola has. So for me, it's Pepsi going same playbook, going to product, and they're using the leading brand's iconography. So it's reminding consumers of the leading brand, not them. So that's the issues I have with that ad.
It might have been a fail. The diagnostics will always come out. You might be right. Maybe I totally missed it. I picked one.
No, it's not that you missed it. Again,
No.
It's different things for different people. It might play for them. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, take away, Tim. Oh, take away, Tim. This is very, very difficult for me. This is very difficult for me. And it's because I'm biased, and I know I'm biased.
Yep.
All right.
We admit to our bias.
Yeah. So I admit to it. So let me give a couple facts, brand nerds. Why would Pepsi do this? Why? The answer has to do with their share position.
Yep.
When the Pepsi Challenge happened, the original OG Pepsi Challenge, Pepsi did this amongst regular consumers, and Pepsi won the taste test. The reason why they won the taste test is because they tested each Coca-Cola and Pepsi, no branding on it, at ambient temperature. And the human taste buds are predisposed to pick that which is sweeter. And when you have Pepsi and Coke, Pepsi's already a little sweeter than Coke. At ambient temperatures, Pepsi is significantly sweeter than Coke. Therefore, it wins the test. So this is why they did the Pepsi challenge. And by the way, the original Pepsi challenge caused the Coca-Cola company to blink in 1984 and launch New Coke, which they abandoned 9 months later, maybe less than 9 months later, to return back to the original flavor of Coca-Cola, which was called Coca-Cola Classic upon its return. Okay, so it's a little history lesson, kids. Today, and Coke and Pepsi were neck and neck, and Pepsi passed Coke for a little bit of time back in the 80s. Now, fast forward to today. Number one is Coca-Cola in share in the U.S., about 19. Number two is Dr. Pepper at about an 8.3 share. Number three is Sprite at about an 8.27 share. And number four.
Not that you know the numbers.
Okay, not that I know numbers. And number four is Pepsi. They're number four. This is why they have returned to the Pepsi challenge. Now, my next point. Brand nerds, you're going to have to go look this up. One of my favorite shows, late night shows, coming up was In Living Color. Keenan Ivory Wayans' show. Great comedians discovered there. Jamie Foxx, in addition to Keenan, Damon Wayans, David Allen Greer, and what's my man's name? Probably the biggest star of them all at one time.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. So
yeah.
Jamie Foxx the biggest now because he's Oscar winner, Grammy winner, all that. But Jim Carrey. So they used to have a film critic show that was a spoof of Siskel and Ebert. And Siskel and Ebert used to do two thumbs up. What Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer, they used to do two snaps up. And one of their lines was, hated it. I hated it. Okay? I hated this goddamn Pepsi challenge thing. Because it reminds me of an old line being used one too many times. Imagine if you said at the age of 20, this same line at the age of 40.
Yeah.
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven because you look like an angel? Okay. That is a stupid line. Okay. But it's okay to use it when you're 20. You can't use this damn line at 70, fellas. You cannot use this thing at 40 years old. And I feel like Pepsi is using the same line, the old line, once again. Finally, then I'm going to get off of it. And we're going to have to change Takeaway Tim's name here. All right, here we go. Here's my final point.
I'm on a 10-day contract. I'm done. That's why.
Here's my.
No, this is great point. That you elevated this. Actually,
Spengler, does the name Michael Beindorf, not Benioff, Beindorf, Coke VP of Marketing, CMO?
No, I thought you were going to out pop culture me. It was going to really bother me. No, if this is a work thing, no, I don't know him.
No work thing. Okay, yep, Coca-Cola. So he came to our B school to recruit us. Shout out CAU.
Nice.
And they showed an ad that had Diet Coke and Pepsi in it. And it was a Coke ad. And afterwards, I'm like, why would y'all do that? Like, why would you highlight Pepsi? And he said, Coke is unassailable. If we can get people for 1 second to think that Diet Coke and Pepsi are in the same league, we've won. He said that's the only time we will ever put another brand in our advertising. I go back to Larry's point. The polar bear is Coke. You're just reminding people of Coke. But I will say this that Pepsi did well. I thought they were going to debase the polar bear, and they didn't.
Yeah,
they treated the polar bears with respect, and for that, I give them credit.
I'm surprised you guys, neither of you had any passion on this topic. It's
a great one. It's a great one, brother.
It is.
All right, Larry.
It's my turn for the banger. Okay.
What you got, brother?
I'm going to also, DC and I have 3 things, and our 3 are very similar but in different order. Here's my 3 when I'm evaluating at Brand Nerds. So my number 1 is brand ID, including strong use of brand icons. Because to me, if you don't do that, again, if you emotionally connect and you do all these other things, but people don't remember your brand, you've lost me. So number 1's got to be brand ID.
Okay.
Number 2 is, does it advance the brand positioning? What the brand is in one's mind and where the brand is and where it's going. So that's number 2. And then number 3, D, you have this as number 1. Is it memorable, compelling, emotionally connecting? So those are my 3 in that order. So as I set that up.
No, I'm sorry, Larry. Just so you know, your third one had 3. I'm just for the record. Okay. but go ahead. You got like 6 things, but go ahead, Larry.
Okay. But it's emotionally connecting. Let's just leave it at that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So again, it's brand ID, advances brand positioning, and emotionally connecting. Let's just leave it to those 3. So with that said, my setup is my favorite was Levi's and Get Up Off of That Thing with James
Levi's,
Brown.
yeah.
Okay. Yep. And that ad was incredible. I'm going to remind you, they literally had the camera on people's butts and probably showed 60 people's butts doing different things, all in Levi's. You can't miss the Levi's ID, the little red label, the Levi's on the pants, and they had everything from all kinds of Levi's jeans on all kinds of butts. And it was incredible. And to me, no one can confuse that for anything else. It's advancing that brand positioning because Levi's is really part of everyone's life, right? Everyone, doesn't matter who you are, what you're about, Levi's is part of your life. And to me, the James Brown song, Get Up Off of That Thing. I mean, I saw it during the Super Bowl and I watched it again today, and it was even better the second time. So for me, that was number 1. Loved it. What y'all think?
I liked it. And we talk about the home game, right? Obviously, Levi's in San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would they have done that last year or next year? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We're just baseballing it with here. But yeah, it was great. It was real. I like the George Michael cutaway. I like the Bruce Springsteen, obviously, cutaway.
Yes.
Great famous ones there. No, it was great. It was great.
I love that one. I was debating on that as well. I will say that rear ends had a bit of a run in the Super Bowl between that and the tight that was a good.
That's right. Which also a great ad.
Yeah, great ad. The tight ends
might be opportunity for Sir Mix-a-Lot next year. I don't.
That would have been nice this year because he's a Bay Area artist.
See,
that's right.
That would have been nice for this year. That's a good one.
By the way, I forgot to say the tagline also to just put the cherry on top is behind every original was the tagline.
Ooh, that is really good. I was impressed, so impressed with that, and I can sum it up in one word: both the brand, the ad, and the music, which is difficult to pull off in fashion, and the one word is timeless.
Right.
Yeah, timeless.
And Levi's is timeless.
Yeah, timeless.
Awesome.
That's a great one. That's a great one, Larry.
All right. So we go to the bus. Who wants to hit us? Who wants to hit the first bus?
I want to go last if I could.
I'll go there if you want.
Yes, please go, Tim. Because by the way, I've changed mine right before the show. I changed mine. So go ahead.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go that Coinbase 60 in the first half. Huh?
You explain it now. Tim, take away Tim. Explain the ad.
Yeah.
Let me
Try to explain it.
There was some version of a cartoon with words going across with some song from the 80s or 90s, I think, which does not matter. I'm sorry. And it
Nope.
was a play on the 2022 Coinbase ad where they put the QR code up and it just shook, and people did click on the QR code from 3 or 4 years ago. I,
Right.
I don't even, that's a 60. I don't even know what that was. I thought that was really a zero. Maybe it was over
Well,
my head. Maybe you guys like that one too. I just didn't get it.
I'm with you. Maybe we'll let DC he'll posit. I completely agree with you. Again, this is egregious to me that you spend that much money and people just don't get it, and you go, huh? And again, it's not doing any of the things that DC and I and Tim and we've talked about what it's doing. And if if you're if you're spending that much money and not communicating anything of value, and if the inside joke is only inside to a few people, then you shouldn't be on the Super Bowl. You should be on something else.
And the one interesting thing, and we didn't say this, and maybe we could have at the outset. Okay, and I think it's important to mention in the context of good ads, but really in the context of bad ads. It isn't only about the in-game anymore.
Yeah.
Great point.
It's about
Yeah.
the takeaway at the end of whatever period of time you guys as the
Right.
brand managers,
Good point.
up to 30 days, 60, 90. And so that includes how they play the pre. Was
Yep.
there a teaser?
Right.
What kind of a trailer? What did they run in the pregame? What did they run in the championship games? So I will say that we're looking at it here a little bit in a vacuum of how did it do that day, and we're
Yeah.
looking at it
Yeah.
with picture thoughts of what does that mean for the brand going forward. So I don't want to. I haven't seen the whole Coinbase activation that
Yeah.
led up to the 60 kind of, to me, a thud, but it just I want to just say that as we say what to me didn't work, because I'm sure there's a lot of really smart people around all of that stuff, and sometimes you take a shot, right, and you
Right.
sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. Didn't for me.
Right. And just Dee, before you go, I just want to
Yeah.
add to what Tim said about the social media component is just integral and huge to all of this. What you do pre in the game and then post. And so we haven't tracked that, brand nerds, but at the same time, you're spending all this money. It can't be in a vacuum where you've maybe done all this thing surrounding it, but you got no meat in the sandwich, meaning in the 60 in the Super Bowl's a dud because people don't get it. So sorry, D, but I just
No,
want to
no,
add
no,
that point.
no. Okay. Um. Okay.
Are you gonna go deep water again? Because I'll put on, if I got to put on my my scuba gear again for this
No,
deep
no, 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 no,
analysis, I
no.
will.
Take away Tim. No, no. Um. Since I went to business school to today, it has been 13,341 days. Okay. Of those 13,341 days, there has only been one day that I have been embarrassed to say that I am in the brand management business. And that was yesterday when I watched that goddamn Coinbase ad.
No way.
Yeah. I was embarrassed, Tim and Larry. I was embarrassed for our craft. And there's an old saying, goes back to Mad Men days and that kind of thing, that nothing kills a great product like a bad product like great advertising. Okay, that's a saying. I don't know if Coinbase is a great product or not. I don't know. But that piece of shit that they put up there, okay, I felt
Merd. In
I
your parlance, is that not merd? I mean, come on.
that's
Right, Louis
yes.
Vuitton.
It just I mean that was in Charles Barkley parlance, that was terrible. That was terrible. It makes me now. I'm sure that I'm going to get a bit of a gag reflux whenever I see the former Staples Center now that has Coinbase on the top of it, because I'll be reminded of this ridiculousness.
Well, and D,
ah,
could I
ah,
add to? Are you complete? Because I want
I
to add
am,
to
I am, brother. Yes,
ridiculousness. I want to take people inside this boardroom where you and I and Tim could both have a real good idea of how this actually happened. And so as they were formulating what they're calling creative and we're really saying isn't, they said, hey, there's going to be all this AI special effects in the
yeah,
Super Bowl, all these
yeah,
celebrities. Ours is going to stand out because we're
yes,
just going to have words and graphics on a page. So it's going
yes,
to stop people because it's going to be
yes,
so different. And by the
yes,
way, maybe that's true. And if you're going to do that, you best damn have a great message and that's compelling. And and I also don't think the Super Bowl is the last place you should be doing that unless you have an incredible idea, right? But I guarantee you that's the kind of thing that got them to buy off on this concept.
You're going to yin while everyone else is yanging. Yeah, we're
Right,
going to go simple. Uh-huh.
right.
Well, I'm watching it. I'm watching. When I say I say we. I
Yeah,
say eight people in a room. The in theater effect, the power. You know the whole thing of you're watching
yeah,
this sitcom by yourself. You don't laugh out loud. That same joke when you're watching with four people and
yeah,
in your couch, you laugh. You make a noise. It's just
right,
whatever that's part of that's built into the value and the price of the
right,
Super Bowl. So no, we're all staring at it.
right.
I don't know
yeah,
what I just saw.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's great call, Tim. That was
That's a
truly
that's a
awful.
that's a great one, brother. That's
That's
a
a great
great one.
bust. All right. So my bust, Tim, you complete? Should we go to
Yes,
mine?
sir. Yep.
All right. So my bust, I don't know what you all think will be interesting because I'm quite sure that some people will say that they like this ad. My bust is Uber Eats and the ad
Okay.
with Matthew McConaughey and it was Matthew McConaughey, Parker Posey, and Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it starts off with Bradley Cooper's jogging and McConaughey's in a car next to him, and they're talking about football. And then they sort of end up in the store in different places, and Parker Posey's there, reprising her role from that HBO show,
Yeah.
and it's all going through. And one of the places they go to is Bradley Cooper's kitchen, and there's an Uber Eats bag way in the back there, and then they end up in a place, and it's like, truly, what in the hell does this have to do with ordering food and Uber Eats and the brand or anything? You have wonderful celebrities. We all know who these celebrities are. But
Mhm.
again, going to the three things, the brand ID is minuscule. I don't see how it's advancing any brand positioning, and it's not funny and it's not emotionally connecting. So it's a big for me. And it's also goes to Tim's point about there's so many folks who just want to get celebrities and throw them into this and feeling like that's going to gravitate people to the screen and get attention, but you better damn well do something with it. So that's my bust.
You want me to
Tim.
go?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna push sideways on that one. I don't disagree with anything you said, but that campaign has done so much work already that it doesn't need to push anything down a hill or up a hill for me. I'm speaking me, I'm speaking
Yeah.
Right.
because those guys are incredibly likable, and you're
They
reminding me
are.
of something I already know about Uber Eats. If that campaign, that's me. If that campaign was sitting in a vacuum and I hadn't seen all of the run-ups with the McCaffrey and all the other ones, then I would agree with you. I feel like because of all that heavy lifting it's done so well, I don't know. I feel like that reminder is okay.
Okay.
I'm with takeaway Tim, and I like to push it a bit further. And the headline is timing is everything. So, brand nerds, if you don't know the campaign, the joke is that football is not really about sports. It is designed to sell more food. This is what they do. So
Right.
we all know that Bradley Cooper, I think most of us know, along with Kevin Hart, but in this ad, it's Bradley Cooper before the Super Bowl and in the Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl, to take away Tim's point, is a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Yep.
Big Eagles fan. And in one of the ads, not in the Super Bowl, he's discussing in front of a boardroom how he has some angst about this thing of conspiracy of his Eagles are not playing football to win championships, but to sell wings, chicken wings, birds. And then he also has a joke in the same execution about that's like Baker Mayfield being a baker. So this is the whole deal, and they have other ads about that. So the stick is football used to sell food. Now let's come to the Super Bowl. You add in another star, Matthew McConaughey, and they carry on this joke. They talk about a fork. They break off two of the things. This is a goalpost. They show the Hall of Fame, Canton. That's supposed to be a juicer.
Right.
All of these jokes are funny. The problem is, to your point, takeaway, Tim, we already got the punchline. We've been getting the punchlines for the last 6 months. So I believe because of the timing, it was a waste of money because of the timing. If they had started this campaign with that Super Bowl spot and then followed it up with the stuff we've already seen, I would say it's brilliant. I would say it's brilliant, but in my mind, no. So I'm going to be with takeaway Tim here. This is a push. Wouldn't have spent my money this way, but they did it. Timing off.
Here's a question. Maybe you guys know this answer on timing. How many homes does the Uber Eats ticket count, traffic count, spike incredibly on Super Bowl Sunday?
I would think it would.
I mean, or have we just done so much food prep at Trader Joe's that we don't need? I don't know. Any other Sunday, we know it's going to be more than the average other whatever.
Right.
So I love the moment thing. The timing is everything. I don't. So as you're saying that, DC, I was like, it's making me think. Yes, is it a yes but or a yes and? Because does that reminder still matter? Because it's not too late to order your wings or order your whatever in the middle of the game. Probably the answer is yes, but good one. Good one for us to know.
Yeah, that would be a good one to know. Yep.
All right.
D,
you're up.
Okay. I got to set this up. All right. Speaking about timing. So it's the first ad block in the second quarter. 11 minutes, 16 seconds. In the A position, so brand nerds and those who are not into marketing, the A position is the first ad that you see in a block of ads. In the A position is a T-Mobile surprise ad featuring the Backstreet Boys. Now, I could do without MGK button at the end. I'm digressing a bit. I don't know that if I were he or his people, I would have allowed him to be the brunt of a joke that everybody was there to see the Backstreet Boys in Times Square. Now they're gone, and you're here with a mom and her daughter expecting to see the Backstreet Boys, and they're disappointed that they got you. That aside, so it's the second quarter, and the Backstreet Boys, they come on with all their glory, 60-second spot, doing their thing, going through Times Square with all of the people. Now, it's still the second quarter. But now it's right before halftime. 32 seconds remaining for halftime. And in the A spot, again, first spot here, is Goodwill Dunkin'. Yep. And brand nerds, this ad has it's a sitcom spoof set to Dunkin' Donuts in a store, led by Ben Affleck, and it's a spoof of the movie Good Will Hunting. except they're calling it Goodwill Dunkin'. In this ad are the following celebrities, in addition to Ben Affleck: Jennifer Aniston, Friends, as Rachel; Matt LeBlanc, Friends, as Joey; Jason Alexander, Seinfeld, as Costanza; Jasmine Guy, A Different World, as Whitley; Alfonso Ribeiro, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as Carlton; Ted Danson of Cheers, as Sam; Jaleel White, Family Matters, Urkel. And then the bonus is Tom Brady. Tom Brady. So let's review. It's in the second quarter after the T-Mobile ad has aired with the Backstreet Boys and MGK and Drewski. Drewski is, as you all know, a influencer. That's 7 celebrities. All right. So the production cost, not the media piece, the production cost, including the celebrities, I'm putting it easily $10-15 million.
Gotta be.
Easily
right,
$10-15 million. Okay.
No.
How
much? Those guys weren't there. That was AI.
In the T-Mobile spot?
No, T-Mobile. I thought you were talking about the Dunkin' spot.
No, I'm at T-Mobile.
I know you're talking about the Dunkin' spot too.
No, okay, I'm sorry. So the T-Mobile spot is aired. So second quarter, after the T-Mobile spot is aired, Backstreet Boys, MGK, Drewski, 7 celebrities. Okay, now, after, again now, Goodwill Dunkin', they got 9 celebrities.
Right.
9 celebrities: Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston, and Tom effing Brady. That ain't no AI on Tom effing Brady. He wasn't in no goddamn sitcom. All right. That's Tom effing Brady. This is millions of dollars. And this is Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's production company, Artist Equity. Immediately following the Goodwill Dunkin'. So immediately after this appears, there's another ad that comes on. So this is after a cornucopia of celebrities. This fucking PowerPoint presentation, karaoke style, everybody Coinbase comes on. Okay. This is after 9 celebrities. Okay. Straight trash, homie. Shout Randy Moss, who says straight cash, homie. So so I'm with you, takeaway Tim. They are using a Backstreet Boys song called Everybody after T-Mobile has used the actual Backstreet Boys. So in the same quarter, not in the same block, but in the same quarter. The ad looks like it was created by someone at Upwork. Okay. At Upwork. Okay. So back to my 3 now. 0 emotional impact. 0 brand integration, save for the last few seconds. 0 mastery of the moment. I'm embarrassed for our craft. I'm embarrassed for our craft. So I'm with you, takeaway Tim. It's not only that it was bad, it was the context against the other ads. Dunkin' Donuts is going to give me 9 celebrities. And you're going to give me a fucking PowerPoint? That's what, in the same block? That's what you're going to give me?
When you buy a spot in the Super Bowl, you do know who you're with. You do know what you're next.
Thank you. I was going to ask you. And also, Tim, as you said, do you pay more, or is it relationships, how you get what Dee was saying, when you're in a block that you get the A spot? How does that work?
All of that. Who are you? Who is this company I'm doing business with?
Right.
To get the A, or somebody else I don't do a lot with. You kind of screwed me on that big deal last year. Now you come back, you want a Super Bowl spot. I might clip you 100. All of that is in there,
right?
In the negotiation as to who pays what for what. But you do know, it's interesting what DC is saying, because you do know, you get the format, okay? You get the run of show.
Right.
If you're in the game, they will show you who's in the game and where they are. And you first know, okay, I'm buying the spot. I'm in this moment. It comes out of the second quarter. It's the 2-minute warning of the halftime. Whatever it is, you know everybody that's in that pod with you.
Gotcha.
You know the second right before, which is leading out. Maybe there's a billboard, 2 billboards. It's a movie trailer. It's Cheetos and it's Coke, and then we're moving to so every single second of that. And I wonder if any of that mattered. Did did that further yin their yang when they went even more,
Right.
whatever that is? Did we mentally? So we're going to have to look at the minute by minutes on this one. We have to. Because did people mentally take a break? And maybe not, okay, because we're all leaning in. I told you the movie theater effect.
Yep.
Did people mentally take a break after just seeing 9 celebrities in that thing in a row? And I'm now trying to figure out, were they even there or not? Yeah, Tom Brady was, but some of those other ones, Ted Danson did not, was not there. Okay, that was not his face was from another time in a different body. New current body moving in a video. Ted Danson's face from another time. Anyway, then moving into that. Did we take a little mental break for a second? I don't. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see.
Larry, I do want to have one more thing to share with the brand nerds, but go ahead, Larry.
No, I was going to say it was so bad. You know what goes through my mind, guys? Because we've been there. We've all been there when this has happened. That could they have had another creative, and for whatever reason that fell through, and that this was the backup. It's so bad. You wonder if that was the case.
The night before, the network said no, and they took it to the top, and then they had to run with B.
I mean,
I don't think so with the
think
60, but it's funny. It's happened. It certainly happened.
it happened. Anyway,
I don't give them that much credit
Yeah.
because I could, if we can take the brand nerds behind the curtain here, backstage pass to how these decisions get made, I can envision something like this in the conversation. Hey, NBC, we buy a lot of media from you all, a lot. And we are in a growing area, This is a growing area here. And so we're going to be buying a lot more media. So while we're not going to try to force your hand for us to be in the A block in the first quarter, like right in the first, we can go later, but we got to be in the first half. Okay, great. But we want to be in a special place in the first half. Okay, how about this? We've got Goodwill Duncan happening.
yeah,
And brand nerds, maybe not as familiar of a term now because we are in this fragmented media space, but back in the day, there was something called lead in. And they had a lead in conversation with these folks at Coinbase. Everybody's going to watch this spot. It's got Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston, Matt LeBlanc, Jason Alexander, Jasmine Guy, Alfonso Ribeiro, Ted Danson, Jaleel White, and Tom effing Brady. This is a great lead in. Yes, Coinbase says, that's a great lead in. We want to be there. And to that, I got to go old school. I got to go Fred Sanford. Rest in peace. You big dummy. I bet that's how this went down. Man, you're going to go after 9 celebrities with a PowerPoint presentation for 60 seconds. And at the very end, you're going to put everybody Coinbase? You think people are going to get up during the game and join in karaoke because you've got it in the background so that people will hop up just before halftime and do a karaoke thing? You idiots.
yeah,
Idiots. Okay, I'm done. I'm just done.
This is great. And brand nerds, the point here is that, and let's segue to the close here. The point here is that when you have something such as the Super Bowl that's unmatched, it's the only time in all of Western society where people want to watch the ads. Tim has talked to us a lot about this, about how especially the younger generation, they get pissed off when they see ads in anything.
There's no neutral. Yeah, there's no neutral. Right now, it's either I'm leaning to the ads, which is once a year, then the rest of the year I'm leaning away.
Right. So now you actually have people who want to see your ad. And so with that, that's why you will pay the premium. It's not just for the eyeballs, but it's for the whole effect to be part of something that you cannot get at any other time. And so the uniqueness and specialness of that occasion has to be leveraged to the hilt. And so that's where, and honestly, guys, we didn't talk about this, but I feel like a lot of people missed the mark because, we didn't talk about the Budweiser ad.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
My favorite Super Bowl ad of all time is from 2013 when the Clydesdale was a young Clydesdale and the farmer who brought him up and at the parade. I cry every time I see that ad.
Yeah.
This ad for me was, again, and it goes to Tim's theme of AI, with getting the eagle on, it does the three things. I was going through it does brand ID, you can't miss it. Clydesdale, and the eagles on the label with Budweiser. Does it advance the positioning? Yeah, I guess so, because it's American beer. And, is it emotional because they get into but for me, it pissed me off, quite honestly, because I found it incredibly inauthentic, if there is such word, right? And so my closes with Tim's opening theme of AI, you better be authentic and you better understand the occasion that you're in as it relates to this special platform of Super Bowl that people are leaning in. And if you don't fully take advantage of that, like we talked about with the ads that we feel really hit the mark, why you win the Super Bowl? That's my closing thought. Tim D, what you guys are thinking?
I'll go. So then let D. We'll go. D go last. This is going to be. Maybe I'm over my skis on this one, but I want to be able to say this. Did you see Ricky Martin in the halftime show
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm watching that thinking that is the long lost third David from the Heineken ads. That is Matt Damon and David Beckham's long lost third brother.
Oh,
I
wow.
want him in the next Heineken commercial. He looks like he fit right in.
Wow.
That is the third long, and we'll have the Hispanic thing in there that'll broaden it out. I want
Yeah.
the long lost third brother to be Ricky Martin with some other name, David or something. That's
That was
my
funny.
that's my final thought.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna do two, one brand related and one not. Um, if in any one of these 80 plus ads, you can line them up, and let's say you used AI and you did an A/B test, and you did the ad with the brand that bought the ad, and then that's A, and then B, you did the same ad and replaced the branding with one of your competitors. Would it make a difference?
Right.
Like, would it make a difference? And I dare I say most of those 80 ads, you could do that A/B testing and it wouldn't make a difference at all. Like the Claude ad, for example,
Yep.
which was a really good ad, that could have been OpenAI.
Yep.
It could have been
I
Gemini.
understand.
Yeah. And so that's my first sort of closing thought.
Yeah, just one quick thing. That's one of the reasons why I love the Levi's ad. Ain't nobody else could do that.
Nobody else could do that. No, it would look dumb.
Yep.
If someone else tried to do that. You're not gonna have, I don't know, Amiri try to do that.
Yep.
My second takeaway is statements can be made without them being political, and that's the halftime show. In Bad Bunny's halftime show, he had a couple actually get married.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
actually got married. That was a real wedding. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, I wonder if that's real. And then I thought, knowing this dude and his people, it is real.
Yeah.
And at the end of his set, there was an American flag being carried. And behind that American flag, flowing along right behind it, were the flags of innumerable Latin, Hispanic countries and places around the globe. Bad Bunny's message to me was love.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age, I believe, to quote another famous Beatle, we need more love, and that may be all we need.
Great.
Well said, Dean. And it actually, he had it on the scoreboard. Love conquers hate. It was a big in the back. Again, that was so well produced.
Yeah.
And that was the ending image.
Yep.
Ending image. Man, guys, this was so fun. We could go on forever about this. I think the brand nerds have gotten our real good thoughts, and which is awesome. So we're gonna hit the show close. So thanks for listening to Brands Beats and Bites. The executive producers of Brands Beats and Bites are Jeff Shirley, Daryl DC Cobb, and Larry Taman, Chade Tate, and Tom Dioro.
The Podfather.
That is he. And if you do like this podcast, please subscribe and share. For those on Apple Podcasts, if you are so inclined, we love those excellent reviews. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we look forward to next time, where we will have more insightful and enlightening talk about marketing.